Hey guys, welcome to another episode of The Completionist. For this episode, guys, it is not only games that I complete, it is actually game collections as well. And today is actually a very special day for me because today I have officially finished my North American domestic anime-style game collection for the Sega Saturn. And this is a collection I'm actually pretty proud of because the Sega Saturn was one of those consoles in which I never got a chance to play as a kid whatsoever. And it was only a couple of years ago that I managed to buy my first Sega Saturn, but unfortunately you can imagine Sega Saturn games are very hard to come by. Now, with my video game collection, about 90 to 95% of the video games that I collect are anime-style video games because it is the genre of games that I like the most. So a couple of years ago, what I decided to do is I decided to do a checklist for every major console of the anime-style games for every console. So with the Sega Saturn, with its entire North American library, I discovered that there's about 46 to 47 anime-style games. So over the last year, I decided to start collecting for the Sega Saturn. So I just wanted to show you guys what some of the anime-style games are for the system, because I have a total of 50 games here. The majority of them are the anime-style games. There's only 2 to 3 that are not, and I just wanted to show you the anime-style games for this system, and that's pretty much it, guys. And now I'm officially done collecting for the Sega Saturn, so I just wanted to take the time to show you what those games are. So let's get to it. So in the first row right here, we have Virtual On, Cyber Troopers, Dark Legend, Street Fighter Alpha 2. And this game's an interesting one. It's Megaman 8, the Anniversary Collector's Edition. Now, the funny thing is that when I was collecting for the Sega Saturn, this was actually the hardest game for me to find. It actually took me 3 to 4 months to actually find a complete copy of this online. So with some of the more rarer titles, this one was actually the hardest one to find for me. We have Shining Wisdom, Shining Force 3, and Night Warriors, Darkstalker's Revenge. For the second group of games, guys, we have Street Fighter Collection, we have Street Fighter Alpha, Battle Arena Toshinden Remix, Last Bronx. And guys, if you're a Sega Saturn collector, this will be the most expensive game for the Sega Saturn. And it did cost me a good bit of money, but I'm actually grateful I do have my own copy. But if you do collect for the system, it will be the most expensive game. And that is Panzer Dragoon Saga. We have Tetris Plus, Sealed, and we have Sonic Jam. For the next group of games, we have the original Panzer Dragoon, Galaxy Fight, Fighting Vipers. This is another rare game for the Sega Saturn. Burning Rangers, Fighters Megamix, Bust a Move 3. And this game will make the happy console gamer a little happy. Guardian Heroes. Another rare title for the Sega Saturn. And in the next group, we have Golden Axe the Duel. The last game to add to my Sega Saturn collection, X-Men, Children of the Atom. Not an anime style game, but to be honest, without this game we wouldn't have X-Men vs. Street Fighter, and of course Marvel vs. Capcom and Marvel vs. Capcom 2. We have Street Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo. We have Battle Arena Toshinden, Ultimate Revenge Attack. Virtua Fighter 2. And Darius Gaiden. And for the next group of Sega Saturn games, guys, this one will make Rob Man a little happy. We have Megaman X4 for the Sega Saturn. And you can't get much more anime style than this game. Magic Knight Rayearth. We have Shining the Holy Ark. We have Nestaria, The Realms of Lore. This game is not an anime style game, but it's one I wanted to pick up because I would classify it as a side-scrolling shoot-'em-up, and that's In the Hunt. And Astal. For next group of games, guys, we have Saturn Bomberman, mostly sealed, except for this little rip here. And one game I've been looking forward to getting for a very long time, and that's Dragon Force. Guys, it actually took me a very long time to get a full copy of this game. This is actually the third copy I had to buy because the first two copies told me that they had the Working Designs registration card, but they didn't. So I had to refund my money back twice. And finally, the third copy, I actually got the registration card I actually wanted, so I'm pretty grateful for that. We have Sonic 3D Blast for the Sega Saturn. We have Sonic R, still sealed. We have Galactic Attack, another excellent shoot-'em-up. We have Virtua Cop 2. And Virtua Fighter Kids. And for the last group of games, we have Virtua Fighter Remix, and we have Virtua Fighter. And for the final group of games, guys, we have Bubble Bobble, also featuring the Rainbow Islands. We have Bust a Move 2, Arcade Edition. We have Blazing Heroes. We have Panzer Dragoons Y. We have Albert Odyssey, Legend of Eldian. And we have the Marvel Superheroes fighting game. And we also have Dark Savior. And the other things, guys, that I have is I got the original Virtua Cop game with the stunner gun, So pretty glad to get this. And I also have the Dragon Force backup RAM cartridge. And I think, guys, that should be a total of 50 games, actually. And for one, I'm actually happy to finish my Sega Saturn collection because it's a system I've always wanted to play, and it's a system I've always wanted to collect for. My main mission is that, you know, I obviously want to get as many anime-style games for each of the major consoles, but the reason why I wanted to collect for the Sega Saturn first is that my parents were actually very strict when it came to me playing video games and stuff like that. Like the first video game console I did own was the Atari 2600, and then I had a NES, and then eventually I had an SNES. But there was a period of time that I didn't own a video game system from the SNES to the PlayStation 1. And I only ever owned the PlayStation 1 at the very late lifespan of the PS1. So there were a lot of systems that I actually missed out on growing up, such as like the Sega CD, Sega Genesis, N64, Sega 32X, Sega Saturn, and things like that. So I'm actually pretty grateful to actually finish my Sega Saturn collection. Now, all these games, I actually I didn't get any deals on any of them. I firmly believe in paying for a game for what it's truly worth. So some of these games were actually worth a good bit of money, but I'm actually pretty grateful that I do own them. So, you know, even though you know, we got a lot of great new generation games coming out, I'm actually going to spend quite a bit of time playing a lot of these Saturn games for the first time. And I promised myself that I wouldn't play any of these Sega Saturn games until I finished my collection. So I'm actually pretty happy that I actually finished the collection. So, guys, in ending, what I want to do, just let me get straightened up here, is there's my trusty Sega Saturn here. Can't wait to start playing a lot of these games for the first time. So, which Sega Saturn game am I going to play first? Well, these are the top three on my list. And what do you know, they're all Working Designs games. We have Dragon Force, we have Magic Knight Rayearth, and we have Albert Odyssey Legend of Eldian. Now, I actually already got decided which game I'm going to play first, but which one do you think I'm going to play first? I'll give you a few seconds. Alright, have you decided? It's not Magic Knight Rayearth. Now, I have a really good friend on a gaming forum that has a very good Sega Saturn collection, and he loves Dragon Force to death. It's one of his favorite games. And he told me, if I don't play that game first, he's going to kill me. And trust me, it is high on my priority, but unfortunately, it's not going to be my first game. Albert Odyssey is going to be my first game. The reason why that is, more than anything else, is when I was a teenager, I used to go into the local drugstore and look at some of the various gaming magazines there. And I remember on one page, I think it was on GameFan, that it had a beautiful full-page poster of this game. And I was so fascinated by the beauty of it and some of the graphics of it, and I absolutely said to myself, I absolutely have to play this game. This has got to be the first Sega Saturn game I'm going to play. So actually, I can't wait to play it. So guys, if you have any other suggestions over some of the other Sega Saturn games I should definitely give a try first, feel free to tell me. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching another episode of The Completionist. So take care, and I wish you nothing but the best.